Hi everyone, this is Claire from Susan's family. Today I'm here to teach you how to make a London series Jane Eyre lace cardigan. This cardigan uses high quality yarn, lightweight and breathable. The split and tie design is fresh and elegant. While the embroidered roses look delicate and soft, the luxurious flower patterns are paired with a small stand-up collar, making it simple yet vintage. The making method is simple. Even beginners can easily learn it. If you need to purchase the original materials kit and receive crocheting guidance, please search for the store, Susan's Family. You can go directly to the shop. Next, let's get to the main topic. This cardigan consists of the main part and accessories. The main part includes the front piece and back piece, the collar and pearl buttons. The accessories include lace trim, edging, straps and decorations. First, separately complete and join together the main part. Then attach the lace trim to the main part. Next, crochet the edging on the lace trim. Lastly, make and attach the straps and decorations. Now, let's start learning the method for making the main part. First, we will learn the crochet method for the front piece. Take a look at the finished product. The front piece consists of the body and two shoulder parts. These three parts make up the front piece. We will start with foundation chain and work along the starting chain. Crochet back and forth in rows. After completing it, then, crochet the two shoulder parts with decreasing stitches. A variety of stitch techniques are used. All the stitch techniques are marked in the chart, so I won't go through them individually. Now, please watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. Before we start crocheting, let's learn the basic posture for crocheting. To make it easier for everyone to watch clearly, I will use thick yarn for the demonstration. The colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, let's start with the beginning chain. Wrap the yarn tail around the left little finger once. Pass it through between the middle finger and index finger. Then pinch the yarn tail with your thumb and middle finger. Pick up the crochet hook with your right hand. Place it underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Use the left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Position the hook to the left of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Slightly tighten it. Now start crocheting chain stitches. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through. Keep it slightly loose. A chain stitch is now completed. This V shape formed by the slip stitch counts as one stitch. Continue crocheting chain stitches. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. This is the second stitch. Repeat this process. Continue crocheting chain stitches. Pay attention to keeping the starting chain loose. Continue until you complete the required number of stitches. Here, my sample has fewer starting chains. Refer to the diagram for the exact stitch count. 3, 4. That completes the starting chain. Move on to the first row. Make 3 beginning chains. This is counted as 1 double crochet. Next, work a DC2 bobble into the last chain of the starting chain. This is called a bobble for short later. Locate the fourth chain from the left. Yarn over. The front side of the chain looks like a V-shaped braid. Insert the hook under the top 2 strands of this chain. Yarn over again. Pull the yarn through. There are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops remaining on the hook. This is an incomplete double crochet stitch. Move on to the second stitch. Yarn over. Insert into the chain braid. Yarn over again. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through 2 loops. Now there are 3 loops on your hook. That is, 2 incomplete double crochet stitches. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in one go. 1 bobble stitch is now completed. There is a V-shaped braid at the top, right? This is the stitch of the bobble stitch. Then make 1 chain as a transition. Skip the 5 chains on the left. Make 1 bobble stitch on the 6th chain. First, pick up both strands of this chain. Crochet 2 incomplete double crochets. One, 2. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops in one go, and another bobble stitch is completed. Then make 3 chain stitches. In the same chain position, work 1 slip stitch. Insert the hook. Pull the yarn through, and pass through all loops on the hook. The slip stitch is done. This is the braid formed by the slip stitch. Next, crochet 3 chain stitches. Work 1 bobble stitch in the same position. Then make 1 chain stitch to secure it. Skip the next 5 chain stitches. Work 1 bobble stitch in the 6th chain stitch. Make 3 chain stitches. Join with a slip stitch in the same chain position. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. And draw through all the loops on the hook once. Another slip stitch is complete. Next, crochet 3 chain stitches. And work 1 bobble stitch. Make 1 chain stitch for transition. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. Join these 2 bobble stitches with 2 groups of chain stitches. The slip stitch and this chain stitch count as 1 motif. This row has a pattern with an interval of 5 chain stitches. Repeat crocheting this motif. Continue all the way down following this method for the row. Finish crocheting the last motif. Leave an interval of 5 chain stitches. Then crochet half a motif. Check the number of motifs. Pay attention to the beginning and ending. Each should be a symmetrical half motif. For the exact number of motifs, please refer to the paper instructions. After completion, at any position in this row, Pick up the 2 strands of yarn from the bobble stitch. Place 1 stitch marker to mark it as the right side of the piece. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can also use a safety pin or a paperclip as a substitute. The first row is now complete. The fabric piece will slightly bend towards the starting chain. This is a normal occurrence. Move on to the second row. Make 5 beginning chains. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. On the chain stitch between the motifs on the left side, crochet 1 motif. Pay attention, it's not the stitch of the bobble. Pick up the 2 strands of yarn from the top loop of the chains and crochet. Continue downward in the previous row. At the chain stitch position between motifs, repeat crocheting 1 motif. Finish this row. Complete the last motif. At the insertion point of the bobble stitch from the previous row, work a double triple crochet. The technique is, wrap the yarn around the hook 3 times. Then insert the hook into the corresponding chain stitch. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Now there are 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops in sequence. Pay attention each time you pull through. Make sure to enlarge the loop appropriately. Repeat this 4 times. 3, 4. When finishing, pull the yarn to about the same height as the rest of the row. 1 double triple crochet is now completed. Above and to the right of this stitch, there is a V-shaped braid. This is the stitch of the double triple crochet. The second row is now completed. You can see that these 2 rows of patterns are staggered, forming complete 4 petal flowers. Move on to the third row. Start with 3 chains. Turn the fabric piece. Then work a double triple crochet in the stitch below the chain. Work a bobble stitch here. Pay attention, because you're on the wrong side of the previous row. The stitch corresponds to the double triple crochet, the braid above and to the left of it. That is, pick up these 2 strands. Work 1 bobble stitch. Then work a chain as a transition. This completes half of the pattern. Then work 1 pattern group in the chain between motifs on the left side. Work 1 pattern group. Continue downward, working 1 pattern group in the chain between motifs on the left side. Work 1 pattern group. Finish this row. Work the final half pattern group. into the last chain of the turning chain from the previous row. The third row is complete. Move on to the fourth row. You can see that the crochet pattern for this row is identical to the second row. Continue downward, referring to the previous demonstration. Finish this row. Complete the last pattern group in the stitch of the double treble crochet from the second row, which is the insertion point underneath in the bobble stitch. Work 1 double treble crochet, yarn over 3 times. Insert your hook into this position, yarn over, pull the yarn through. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops on your hook. Enlarge the loop as needed. Repeat this 4 times. When done, make sure to pull the yarn to the correct height for the current row. That completes the double treble crochet. Row 4 is now finished. The crochet method for the remaining part of the body is relatively simple. Treat row 3 and row 4 as one crochet repeat. For the remaining part of the body, continue crocheting by repeating these 2 rows. Keep going all the way down until you finish the remaining rows of the body. Refer to the chart for the exact number of rows. The stitch techniques used have been demonstrated before. I will not repeat the demonstration. Pay attention that when the body section is completed, you should fit it well to check the required length. Add a few more pattern repeats depending on the actual situation. While crocheting, you may encounter situations where the yarn tail is not long enough, and you need to join yarn. I will demonstrate the method for joining the yarn here. Join the yarn at the position of the DC2 bobble. First, use the previous yarn tail to make 2 incomplete double crochets. Then, with your left hand, hang the new yarn tail, leaving a length of about 5 centimeters or so. Yarn over, and draw through all the loops on your hook once. The bobble stitch is now finished. The yarn has also been joined. Gently tighten the previous yarn tail slightly. Then continue working the corresponding stitches. Leave the yarn tails for later handling. This completes the joining of the yarn. Up to this point, the crocheting method for the front body piece has been explained. After completing the body piece, next, crochet the 2 shoulder parts on the left and right. I'll demonstrate with this small sample. The swatch has fewer rows for simplicity. It's just to show the technique. Start with the first row of the right shoulder part. Continue crocheting from the ending position of the body piece. Follow the crochet pattern along the edge of the body piece. In the stitch of the double treble crochet, crochet half of the pattern. Then pick up the chain stitch between patterns. Crochet 5 patterns. After completing them, in the adjacent bobble stitch on the left side, work a double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over again, and pull the yarn through. There will be 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pass through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this step twice. One double crochet is now completed. The first row is done. Move on to the second row. Start with 3 turning chains. Turn the workpiece. Pick up the chain stitch between the patterns on the left side and crochet a pattern. Continue until you finish this row. After completing the last pattern, at the insertion point of the previous row's bobble stitch, crochet 1 double triple crochet, the second row is now finished. Looking from the right side of the fabric, the decrease on the left side of the shoulder part creates a slant. The right side works even. Continue crocheting following the previous pattern. Move downward to the right shoulder part. Rows 3 through 8 are relatively simple to crochet. I'll use this sample swatch that has completed the first 8 rows to explain. For rows 3 through 5, continue decreasing on the left side of the shoulder part. The right side is crocheted evenly. On row 6, both the left and right sides need to decrease stitches. Rows 7 and 8 decrease on the right side. The left side is crocheted evenly. The method of decreasing is the same as for rows 1 and 2. Everyone can refer to the previous demonstration and chart instructions. After completing the first 8 rows of the shoulder parts, I will not repeat the demonstration. On the 9th row, you need to crochet 1 special pattern. I'll demonstrate with this sample swatch. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the workpiece. Then in the stitch below the beginning chain, make 2 incomplete double crochets. Next, on the left side of this bobble stitch, make 3 more incomplete double crochets. Now there are 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all the loops on your hook. This special pattern is now complete. Crochet 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a tail of about 25 centimeters, which will be used for connecting the front and back pieces. After breaking the yarn, pull it through and tighten. The right shoulder part is now finished. Next, crochet the left shoulder part. I'll continue demonstrating with this swatch. First, let's join the yarn. Take the new yarn and make a slip knot. Leave a tail of about 5 centimeters. Hang the yarn tail on the left hand. Make sure the right side of the piece is facing you. Locate the first row of the right shoulder part underneath the double crochet on the left side. Count 4 motifs to the left. On the right side of the 5th motif, join the yarn at this bobble stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch and pull the slip knot through. Adjust the loop size. Pay attention. Make sure the knot doesn't come out of the fabric piece. Joining the yarn is done. Place the yarn tail for joining at the back and leave it for now. Then, start with 3 chains as the turning chain. Pick the chain stitches between motifs on the left side and work the corresponding group. Continue until you finish this row. Complete the last half of the motif. Row 1 is now complete. Rows 2 to 4 are relatively simple. You will decrease stitches on the right side of the shoulder parts. Work even on the left side without increasing or decreasing. The method for decreasing stitches on the right shoulder part is identical to the one used previously. Please refer to the earlier demonstration and chart instructions. Work the first 4 rows on your own. I will not repeat the demonstration. I'll use this small sample to demonstrate the crochet method for row 5. Start with 3 turning chains. Turn over the fabric piece. Continue working the corresponding stitches according to the previous pattern until you finish the last bobble stitch. Now we've reached this position. Crochet 1 chain stitch, then on the previous row. At the chain stitch on the left side of the last bobble stitch, work a bobble stitch with 3 double crochets. First, make 3 incomplete double crochet stitches in this chain stitch. Now there are 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, and draw through all the loops on your hook. 1 DC3 bobble is done. Row 5 is complete. Next, the remaining part of the left shoulder is relatively simple. On row 6, you need to decrease stitches on both sides. On rows 7 and 8, decrease on the left side. Work even on the right side. On row 9, crochet a special pattern stitch. Follow the same method as row 9 of the right shoulder. After completing it, secure with a chain stitch, then leave about 25 centimeters of yarn tail and fasten off. Pull out and tighten. The left shoulder part is now finished. Up to this point, the crocheting method for the front piece has been fully explained. Next, we will learn the crocheting method for the back piece. Let's take a look at the finished product. The back piece also consists of 3 parts, the body section, and the 2 shoulder parts on the left and right. The crocheting method for the body section is identical to that of the front piece. The only difference is the number of rows in the crochet. Pay attention. If there is an added pattern repeat on the front piece, the back piece must also include the corresponding number of repeats. The shoulder parts are located on both sides of the body section, and their crocheting method is the same as that for the shoulder parts of the front piece. The corresponding position of the neckline is slightly different. Specifically, the first 10 rows should be worked even, creating the opening at the back. From rows 11 to 15, decrease stitches on both sides. This will form the corresponding neck opening. After completing both sides of the shoulder parts, leave a tail of about 5 centimeters and fasten off the yarn. The stitch techniques and methods for joining the yarn have been demonstrated before. Please refer to the previous demonstrations and chart instructions. To complete the crocheting of the back piece, I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, we will join together the front piece and the back piece. I'll demonstrate the joining method using these 2 swatches. Place the front piece right side facing the back piece. Align the shoulder parts. The back piece should be facing you. Let's start by connecting the left shoulder. Use the reserved yarn tail from the front piece. Work single crochets and chains to connect. Hold the thread with your left hand. Insert the hook into both fabric pieces at the same time. This special pattern stitch yarn over, pull through. Make 1 beginning chain to start, then work 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Insert, yarn over and hook out, and draw through in once both loops. That's 1 single crochet, 3 chains as a bridge, at the approximate position on the left. At the same time, pick up the loops from both the front and back pieces. Make 1 single crochet, and 3 chains. Move down according to the pattern of 1 single crochet, 3 chains. Continue crocheting downward until the shoulders are connected. After completing the last single crochet, crochet 1 chain to secure. Leave a 5 cm tail and fasten off the yarn. Tighten. Take the yarn tail along the texture of the fabric to the wrong side. You can secure a few more stitches if you like. Then trim off any excess tails. 1 shoulder part is now connected. Use the same method to connect the other shoulder part. After completing it, follow the same way to deal with all the yarn tails. I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, we'll crochet the collar, with the right side of the back piece facing you. At the opening position on the left shoulder part, join the yarn in the top of the double treble crochet stitch. Then make 1 chain as your beginning chain. Next, work 1 single crochet in this stitch. Chain 1 as a bridge. Then at this chain space on the left, pick up 2 loops and make 1 single crochet and 1 chain stitch. Continue following the pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 chain stitch. Pick up and crochet downwards from the approximate position of the piece. The exact position of the single crochets is not fixed. Refer to the diagram. Generally, pick up an even number of stitches as required. My sample has fewer stitches here. After picking up the corresponding number of stitches, the first row is done. The crochet work for rows 2 to 6 is relatively simple. That is, refer to the chart, except for the first and last single crochet stitches. Work single crochets into the chain stitch positions from the previous row. Crochet single crochets. Between each 2 single crochets, work 1 chain stitch as a connection. Pay attention, starting from the 3rd row, you need to decrease stitches. The method is relatively simple. Just crochet according to the chart. All the stitch techniques needed have been demonstrated before. Everyone can refer to the pattern chart and crochet the first 6 rows of the collar by yourself. I will not repeat the demonstration. In the 7th row, you need to crochet picket stitches. I'll demonstrate with this sample swatch. Start with a chain 1. Turn the fabric piece, then work 1 single crochet. Next, make a CH3 picket. First, chain 3. Then pick up from the single crochet below. Select these 2 strands of yarn. Work 1 slip stitch. Slightly tighten. That completes 1 picket stitch. Then chain 1. Work 1 single crochet into the left chain position. And 1 chain. Repeat twice. Then work another single crochet, followed by another picket stitch. First, chain 3. Then pick up these 2 strands of yarn from the single crochet below. Work 1 slip stitch. Slightly tighten. That completes the second picket stitch. Continue downward, working into the chain positions of the previous row. Make 1 single crochet and 1 chain stitch, every interval of 3 single crochets. Work 1 picket stitch. Finish this row. Complete the last picket stitch. Then work 1 chain stitch for transition, and then work 1 single crochet. That completes the 7th row. Next, crochet buttonholes on this side of the collar edge. Let's look at the fabric piece. The edge is a single crochet edge. Pick up these 2 strands of yarn from the single crochet edge. Work 1 single crochet. Then pick up the next row's single crochet edge 2 strands. Work another single crochet. Then work 10 chains. After completing it, skip 2 rows of single crochet edges. On the corresponding single crochet edge of the 3rd row, crochet 1 single crochet. Then pick up from the left side. Crochet 1 single crochet on the single crochet edge. Then fasten off normally. Weave in the ends by yourself. The collar is now crocheted completely. Finally, at the approximate position of the collar on the left side of the back piece, sew on 1 purl button. Take a piece of leftover yarn and thread it through the sewing needle. The color scheme is random here. Tie a knot underneath. Leave the tail a bit longer. Bring the needle out from the corresponding position. Pass through the buttonhole. Insert into the fabric piece. And pass through the reserved loop. Slightly tighten. Sew a few more stitches to secure it in place. After finishing, tie the 2 yarn tails into a double knot. Then tuck the tail end along the texture of the wrong side. Use the same method to tidy up the other yarn tail. I won't demonstrate that part. This way, the purl button is sewn on. Up to this point, the construction of the main part has been explained completely. Next, we'll attach the accessories. Let's take a look at the finished product. First, attach the lace trim to both ends and the sides of the front and back pieces. Then crochet the edging on the small holes of the other side of the lace trim. Finally, create and attach decorations onto the lace trim. The new stitch used is 5 double crochets together as one stitch. Next, please watch me demonstrate the specific making method. Next, attach the lace trim. Before attaching, you need to iron the lace trim flat. First, attach the lace to the bottom of the front piece. I'll demonstrate with this small sample. The sample has fewer stitches and rows. Lay the front piece flat with the right side facing up. Try to smooth it out as much as possible. Cut a piece of lace trim that is about 8 centimeters longer than the width of the front piece. You can see that the lace trim doesn't have a distinct right or wrong side. There are evenly spaced small holes on both sides like this. Place the lace trim at the bottom of the front piece. The extra length on both sides should be roughly the same. Use stitch markers to select a few points. Insert through the small holes on one side of the lace trim. Secure it to the starting chain stitches. Pay attention. Try to keep the fabric piece and the lace trim flat and aligned when securing. Use the remaining strands from the main piece to crochet. Work single crochets and chains to connect. Start at the starting point of the front piece. Join the yarn to the rightmost chain stitch. Make one chain to begin. Work one single crochet in the same stitch. Chain 2 as a transition. In the corresponding hole on the lace trim, work one single crochet. Chain 2 again for the transition. At the starting position, in between the pattern's chains, work one single crochet. Chain 2 for the transition. Work one single crochet in the corresponding hole on the lace trim. Pay attention. The cotton yarn I used for the sample is thicker. There are more holes between each pattern on the lace trim. When you're actually crocheting, work in the corresponding holes when the piece is laid flat. Then chain 2 again for the transition. On the chains where these 2 bobble stitches will be worked, pick up the remaining yarn. Make one single crochet and chain 2 for the transition. Continue downward according to the starting chains on the piece. And work single crochets in the corresponding holes on the lace trim. Following the pattern of skipping 2 chains between each single crochet, continue connecting downward. Pay attention to the row of starting chains on the piece, each insertion point for the bobble stitches, and the chains in between them. All should be worked with single crochets. After completing the last single crochet, fasten off normally. Weave in the ends yourself. The corresponding lace trim on the front piece is now attached. Next, use the same method to attach the lace trim to the back piece. I will not repeat the demonstration. Let's take a look at the finished product. The sides of both the front and back pieces also need lace trim attached. The lace trim needs to be about 16 centimeters longer than the total side length of the front and back pieces, so that there is enough extra on both sides. Ensure the excess length of lace on both sides is identical. Similarly, use the method of single crochet and 2 chains for joining. It's just the insertion position that differs. Pay attention. Before crocheting, leave a tail of about 25 centimeters. After attaching the yarn on the right end of the right side of the fabric piece, work single crochets and chains. All single crochets on each fabric piece should be worked in the same way, where all the short needles are placed. All are crocheted into the chain stitches between each row of patterns, or on the double treble crochets. At the joining position of the shoulder parts of the front and back pieces, work 1 single crochet. On the lace trim, leave a small hole as an interval. Then work 1 single crochet. After completion, leave a 25 centimeters tail end, and fasten off the yarn. The method is relatively simple, so I won't demonstrate it here. Next, crochet the edging on the holes of the other side of the lace trim. Let's start with the edging corresponding to the front piece. Place the piece with the right side facing you. Ensure the holes of the lace are facing up. First, locate the hole on the right side of the edging. Find the corresponding hole on the edge of the fabric. Join the yarn. Then make 1 beginning chain. After that, work 2 single crochets into the hole. Chain 1 as a transition. Continue to the next hole. Work 2 single crochets into the hole. Chain 1 as a transition. Proceed down, working 2 single crochets into each hole. Between every 2 single crochets, chain 1 until you finish this edge. Stop when you reach the corresponding hole on the other side of the fabric. The yarn in my sample is thicker, so it doesn't lay flat after finishing. I will only demonstrate the method. Now I've finished the last hole. That completes the first row. Next, let's work on the second row. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chains. Then turn over the fabric piece. Work 1 double crochet into the single crochet that corresponds below the beginning chains. Hook 1 double crochet into the stitch on the left. Then chain 2 for transition. Next, skip the following 3 stitches. Note: here the chain stitch also counts as 1 stitch. The 4th stitch is a chain stitch. Insert the hook into the large hole below the chain stitch. Work 1 double crochet, 1 chain stitch and 1 double crochet. Then chain 2 for transition. Skip the following 3 stitches below. Similarly, here the chain stitch counts as 1 stitch. The 4th stitch is a single crochet. Pick up the stitch and work 1 double crochet. And chain 2. Skip 3 stitches. Work 1 double crochet in the 4th stitch. 1 chain stitch and 1 double crochet. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. Treat these 2 double crochets and 1 chain stitch as pattern 1. These 2 groups of chain stitches and 1 double crochet as pattern 2. This row is separated by an interval of 3 stitches. Alternate crocheting between these 2 patterns. Continue all the way down following this pattern for the row. Pay attention, the row should end with the double crochet of pattern 2. As you approach the end, you can adjust the stitch count as needed. Work the corresponding patterns with an interval of 2 to 4 stitches. Finally, complete the required motifs in the chart. Finish with the double crochet from pattern 2. Then work 1 more double crochet. Row 2 is completed. Move on to the 3rd row. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. Turn the piece over. Work 1 double crochet into the double crochet on the left side. And work 2 chains. Then, on the left side of pattern 1, pick up the large chain space and work 1 pattern 1. After completing it, work 2 chains for transition. On the left side, in the chain and double crochet, work 1 pattern of 5 double crochets together. First, pick up the chain on the right side of the double crochet. Work 2 incomplete double crochets. Then, pick up the double crochet stitch. Work 1 incomplete double crochet. Next, pick up the chain on the left side of the double crochet. Work 2 incomplete double crochets. Now there should be 6 loops on the hook. That is, 5 incomplete double crochets. Yarn over and draw through all loops. 1 pattern of 5 double crochets together is now done. Next, work 2 chains as a transition. On the chain in the middle of group 1 on the left side. Work 1 group 1. Chain 2 for transition. Then, on the left side, work 1 DC5 tog. First, on the chain on the right side of the double crochet, work 2 incomplete double crochets. Next, work 1 incomplete double crochet on the stitch. Then, on the chain on the left side of the double crochet, work 2 incomplete double crochets. Yarn over and draw through all loops. That completes another DC5 tog. Next, chain 2 for transition. Let's take a look at the fabric piece. This row continues from group 1 of the previous row. Work group 1 again. On group 2, work 2 sets of chains. And 1 double crochet with 5 stitches combined into 1. Continue working this row following this method all the way down. Finally, work 2 double crochets. Row 3 is complete. Moving on to row 4. And row 5, the crocheting method for these rows is simpler. I'll explain using this completed swatch. On row 4, at the DC5 tog from group 2, work a fan pattern made up of 5 double crochets. Between each double crochet in the group, chain 1 as a space. On the chains from group 1, work 1 single crochet to connect. On row 5, work single crochets on the chains from the previous row. Between the single crochets corresponding to the fan pattern, chain 3 as a transition. There is no chain transition between the single crochets in the fan patterns. The crocheting method is relatively simple. The corresponding stitches have all been demonstrated before. Based on the previous demonstrations, refer to the chart and complete these 2 rows. After completion, fasten off the yarn normally and weave in the ends. I will skip the demonstration. Look, this is what the front piece looks like after the edging on the lace trim is completed. The edging at the starting point of the back piece is identical to the front piece. Pay attention. Both sides are crocheted with the right side facing you. The starting and ending positions correspond to the edges of the front and back pieces. On both sides, the edging is worked into the small holes of the lace trim. Starting and ending positions correspond to the last row of edging on the front and back pieces respectively. Everyone follow these steps, and do the edging for the back piece, and both sides on your own. I will skip the demonstration. After all the edging is completed, you'll need to tidy up the lace trim and sew it together. Use the yarn tails that were previously left when attaching the lace trim on both sides for sewing. First, tidy up the lace trim on the front piece with the right side facing you. Start by tidying up the lace trim on the front piece. Hold the fabric piece with the right side towards you, with the bottom edge of the edging facing up. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Place the lace trim on the side at the top, aligning it with the edge of the front piece's edging. Smooth out the lace trim at the bottom. Fold the excess part inward slightly, and then fold it again. Next, pass the sewing needle along the top edge of the lace trim to sew it together. While sewing, pass through the folded lace edge at the bottom simultaneously. There's no restriction on how you sew it. Just try to keep it roughly even. After finishing sewing the corresponding position of the bottom lace, continue to sew along the side of the edging. Once done, fold the excess part of the top lace trim twice in the same way. Finally, adjust so that the length of the lace trim matches the length of the edging's edge. Then sew and secure the folded position. After completing it, tie a double knot on the wrong side of the piece. And weave in the ends. Continue below following this method to tidy up and sew the lace trims at the four corners of the garment. Do this for all of them. The technique is pretty simple, so I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, crochet the strap. Let's take a look at the finished product. You need to crochet 4 straps in total. Attach them on both sides of the front and back of the body. We will start from foundation chain. Begin by casting on first. Crochet 4 chains. Then, on the first chain stitch, work 1 DC2 bobble. Then, crochet 4 chains. Again, on the first chain, work 1 DC2 bobble. Follow these steps and keep crocheting until you reach the required length. Refer to the chart for the exact length. The length on my sample is shorter. Once done, secure the strap to the fabric piece. Make sure the right side of the piece is facing you. Attach the strap to the last row of the edging on both sides. Refer to the paper instructions for the exact position. Find the group of fan pattern that corresponds to this position. Locate the 3 chains in the middle of this pattern. Crochet 3 single crochets on this chain stitch. After completing, fasten off the yarn normally. Weave in the ends. This strap is now completed and secured to the fabric piece. Follow this method to make and attach 3 more straps. The technique is quite simple, so I will not repeat the demonstration. Pay attention when attaching. Make sure all straps are at the same height. Don't stagger them. Next, add embellishments to the lace trim. Let's take a look at the finished product. The embellishments include S-shaped ribbon and roses. We'll start by attaching the ribbon. I'll demonstrate the specific installation method using a sample swatch. First, use a water-soluble pen to draw an S-shaped line on the lace trim. I've already drawn it on my sample. You can see that. In the middle of the lace trim, there are 3 rows of diamond motifs. For each S-shaped bend position, it corresponds to 3 motifs from inside out, or 5 motifs. Everyone, follow this method, and use a water-soluble pen to draw S-shaped lines on all the lace trims. I won't demonstrate this part. After you're done, thread the ribbon through the needle from one side of any lace trim on the wrong side of the piece. Insert it into the approximate position of the water-soluble pen mark. Leave a section of ribbon at the back of the fabric. Then follow the marks made by the water-soluble pen, with intervals of about 2 centimeters. And correspondingly pass through the holes in the lace edge. Pay attention. Try to keep the spacing as even as possible here. Let the ribbon pass through following the water-soluble pen marks. Continue until you've sewn the entire length of this lace trim. As you sew, smooth out the ribbon and keep it flat. Don't pull it too tight, and don't let it twist. Keep both the lace and the ribbon flat. After sewing, leave about 5 centimeters of ribbon and cut it off. Take the beginning and ending ribbons, tie a knot on the wrong side of the lace trim to secure it in place. The ribbon on this lace trim is now attached. Follow these steps, and attach ribbons to all the lace trims. The method is pretty simple, so I won't demonstrate it further. Next, we'll embroider roses. Let's take a look at the finished product. The roses are embroidered onto the ribbon. Keep in mind that the roses are embroidered using variegated yarn. This yarn has multiple color segments. You can refer to the finished product or choose according to your preference. Cut the corresponding colored sections of the variegated yarn for embroidery. I'll use this small sample to demonstrate the specific embroidery method. For your convenience to watch more clearly, I'll demonstrate with solid colored lace yarn. The color is random. Cut a yarn end about 40 centimeters long. Insert the needle. Here, I've already threaded it. Draw through from the corresponding position. Leave about 5 centimeters of yarn tail at the back. Next, with this point as the center, embroider 5 straight lines with roughly equal lengths. Pay attention. Try to keep the angles between the lines as even as possible. After completing them, skip the straight line on the left side of the yarn tail. Pass the needle through from behind the next straight line. Slightly tighten. Then, skip one straight line. And at the next straight line, use the method of threading from behind. Embroider round by round in this way. Note that after embroidering a few rounds, don't pull the yarn tail too tight. Generally follow the outside of the yarn tail from the previous round, and continue embroidering in circles. There's no specific number of rounds here. Embroider roughly until the straight lines underneath are no longer visible. Once done, pass the sewing needle to the wrong side of the fabric. Tie a double knot with the previously left yarn tail. Trim any excess yarn tails. One rose is now embroidered. Next, embroider a pair of leaves below the rose. Thread the remaining ribbon through the needle. Draw it through from beneath the rose. Leave about 5 centimeters of ribbon tail at the back as well. Then, on the opposite side of the bent ribbon, insert the needle roughly in position. Pass through the lace trim's edge. Slightly tighten. Then insert it under the rose. Slightly tighten again. Be mindful not to twist the ribbon. One leaf is now embroidered. Embroider the other leaf in the symmetrical position. Tie a double knot on the wrong side, with the beginning and ending ribbon tails. Trim off the excess ribbon. One pair of leaves is now done. Continue downward using the same method, at all corresponding positions where the ribbon bends. Embroider roses and leaves. Note: the direction of the leaves should always be opposite to the direction of the ribbon's bend. The technique is relatively simple. I will not repeat the demonstration. Next, let's work on the inner garment. First, cut a piece of lace trim that is 2 centimeters longer than the circumference of the inner garment's cuffs. Use the previously demonstrated method to sew on the ribbon, roses, and leaves. Here, I'll demonstrate using this small sample. Then, take the prepared lace trim and sew it onto the cuff position of the inner garment. Start by connecting the beginning and ending of the lace trim with a seam. You can use the remaining strands from crocheting for sewing. Unravel 2 strands to sew with. Alternatively, you can also use a sewing thread that is similar in color to the lace trim. Here, I'm using random colors. Cut about 1 meter of yarn. Thread the needle. Tie a knot at the end of the yarn tail. Pick up the lace trim. Take the beginning and ending of the lace trim. Fold each side inward by about 1 centimeter. Then overlap the beginning and ending by approximately 1 centimeter. Note: do not twist or flip it. The side with the embroidered roses should face outward. Insert the sewing needle into the overlapping area of the lace trim, about 0.5 centimeters away from the edge. Sew a stitch. Pass the needle through the loop left at the end of the yarn once. Pull tight. Then sew along the edge of the lace trim. The method of sewing is not fixed, just make it roughly even. After sewing, do not fasten off the yarn yet. The lace has now been joined into a loop. Next, sew the lace onto the cuff of the innerwear sleeve. Place the innerwear with the right side facing out. Position the side of the lace trim with the yarn tails facing up. Slip it over the cuff. Pay attention to where the lace is connected. Match it with the connecting line of the cuff. The remaining part should fit perfectly on the sleeve. It will be above the line that connects the sleeve and the cuff. You can use another thread first. Sew a few points to secure it in place. After securing it, use the same needle you used before. And continue sewing the lace trim onto the cuff. Start by sewing the top part. Pass the needle through both the hole in the lace and the thread below it. Match the corresponding position of the inner sleeve cuff. Sew with an interval of one small hole. You can pull the thread a little looser to avoid unevenness, so it won't look not flat. After sewing around one circle, sew a couple more stitches at the lace connection point. Bring the tail end of the thread to the other side of the lace trim. Similarly, sew along the line below the holes. While sewing, fold the sleeve slightly to create small pleats. The density and size of the pleats are not fixed, just sew evenly for the most part. Pay attention, don't pull the sewing thread too tight. I won't demonstrate this again afterward. After sewing, tie a double knot close to the lace trim. Weave in the ends to hide them. That's it, one sleeve of the innerwear is done. Simply pull out the securing thread. Handle the other sleeve in the same way. The method is pretty simple. I will not repeat the demonstration. Up to this point, the entire tutorial for this blouse is completed. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.